And I just also feel burnt out from wrestling. Not like a bad way.
Welcome, whether you got here by accident or on purpose. You're on Fishing Without Bait, a podcast about living life without definitive expectations. And what we're looking for is individuals who are looking to create themselves rather than find themselves, to look at life and reality from another perspective, and view life as an epic adventure. There's no admittance fee required, only the honesty, open-mindedness, and a willingness to try. Join our conversations and get acquainted with our eclectic roster of guests. Expect the unexpected and get an assist into exploding into your life with full impact mindfulness. Hello everyone. I'm Jim Ellermeyer. I'm a behavioral health therapist. And today, as we mentioned previously, our eclectic roster of guests, our good friend Zeke joins us again.
Hello.
So Zeke,
it's been like a year?
It's been about a year since we chatted, and we had a really nice conversation about your life and your journey, and how you took different perspectives on life and gave yourself permission to build a life. Could you say more about that, the life you're building at the moment?
Well, life building at the moment has switched a little bit. New job. But also new planning. Last time we talked, I've been wrestling at that point I'm almost to 8 years in BMA, depending on when this comes out, whenever you see it. And honestly, I've been wrestling or doing some form of combat sports since I was so young. But I've made the decision to step away from wrestling after December of 2026. Yeah. I just need a break, like 8 years of just like active wrestling, like just this portion of my life. 8 years strong. I think the longest break I actually had was during the pandemic, and then like that was like maybe 5 months. Like if people were just like not doing anything, we all eating, stay inside, and then like some states were like, oh well, you can do some things, and here's my young enthusiastic self going to these states and risking getting COVID, but like wrestling, like I've always wrestled. I've always done it through college. I literally was a professional wrestler before I graduated high school and before I graduated college, before I got my first big job.
Well, you started training when you were 17 years old.
Yeah, like real young. Like I want to say real young. That's probably, there's people even at 80 that started like at 16, 15.
If I recall correctly, you trained for about 9 months, and then got into the game in the era, and I took the opportunity to watch some of your matches again on YouTube. You had some really banger matches.
Yeah. The sad part is, I mean, CT is like a real thing, unlike Stone Cold probably believes. But I don't remember all the matches that I've had. Not like saying they were bad or like they're like traumatizing, but like that's the thing that kind of sucks about always wrestling all the time. Like the matches start to fade from your memory. If that makes sense. Like you've done something so often, so repetitive, that's just like another day. And it sucks because this is like my dream. This is like someone's dream. And I'm over here just like, oh, well, another day of wrestling, another weekend of wrestling.
Well, you spoke extensively on our last podcast about how the positive impact that wrestling has had on your life. However, what you're telling us now, I'm guessing, that you're choosing not to allow you as a wrestler to define you as a person.
Yeah. Like it's about that time. I mean, I grew up wrestling at this point. Like if I start from like, just the first start of like, hey, I want to get trained at the age of 14 to, hey, I got my first job at 17, worked that, and had a second job at the same time almost, and training and going to high school. Like that's been like the focus for so long. Even the people who followed me since middle school, like my friends or my family, they always knew I want to be a wrestler, right? Now I'm 26 years old. I understand I'm young, but I'm to a point where this is almost a decade. You know what I mean? Like a decade of my life just dedicated to this art, this stunt choreography I want to do. I'm like, I want to do something else for a while. And not just like something else for a while, but like give my body a break. Because like as much as the positives that I have and experience and hopefully I'm giving to people, I'm just also like my shoulder, my shoulder clicks. I'm 26, like it's audible. My back, like you can hear it crack sometimes. My knees pop. And I'm like, I need to go take care of that. Like, you know what I mean? Like I just need to give my body a break. Um, and I just also feel burnt out from wrestling. Not like a bad way, just like, oh, everything's terrible. Everything's like horrible. Things have gone wrong. My gear's missing. Nothing like that. It's just that you do it so much. No matter how much you love something, it's only really good in moderation. Like if you golfed every day, you get tired of golfing, right? So it's like kind of like that. I need like a little break from everything. Um, I don't know how long it would be, if that makes sense. I'm gonna give myself at minimum a year, but it could eke into 2 years or a year and a half. Hopefully, it won't be like 10 years a distance, but I think it's necessary at this point.
The only thing constant about life is change.
Yeah, and something needs to change.
Most people resist change, and we talk a lot about Buddhism on this show, and the concept, what the Buddha talks about is impermanence, that nothing lasts forever.
No.
And, we talk about the concept that we own nothing, that everything is shared with us. So, which leads us to believe if something is shared with you, you have a tendency to take better care of it. So this wrestling life was shared with you.
Yeah. I've also believe I shared it with everybody else. If nothing is shared, especially knowledge, like everything is just shared. Someone, if you look at the grand scheme of things, someone shared their knowledge of how to wrestle with me, took the time to either mentor me, train me, or give me pointers. And I turned around within a decade and just like, all right, here's the new information that I've learned from my experience during this time, and I shared it with that. And when I was younger, I feel like there wasn't a lot of people who were close to my age, in their 20s and 30s, giving advice or stepping into leadership roles. We kind of left it to the older generation to do that. And I'm not saying that's not a good thing, but I am saying you're going to lose perspective, like modern, contemporary perspectives. For example, when I was training, I was always told like, oh, I broke my neck when I was wrestling. I woke up at 5. Did this all day. I came here 5 times. 5 times a week. And maybe in 1986 that was possible, right? Maybe it was possible. I don't know. Maybe not everyone, but it was more possible. Try and get someone to come here 5 days a week, training or anything out extracurricular. That's a little outrageous. You know what I mean? like spending like hours upon hours training when, people have jobs, people have children, people have families, people got other hobbies. Like it's kind of ridiculous now to think that you can just dump all your time into something, no matter how big and important.
So what you're talking about is being realistic.
Yeah, you gotta be realistic about some things. And like, yeah, you can go to the biggest company in the world, but I'm gonna quote a little bit of a J. Cole here. It's only like 12 slots in the Pistons, referring to the team, right? You can be this best person ever, but you may not be picked. And that's very much apparent in wrestling. Wrestling is not a meritocracy, unfortunately. But like, you have to be realistic with yourself. Like when I was younger, when one of the older vets used to ask me, what do you want to do at wrestling? What's your goal? I said, the fact that I'm even here, that's the dream. Because I didn't think I was going to ever get signed. Because I was, be honest, I'm frank, I'm short. I'm 5'4". It says on my license, can't lie, I'm short probably in real life. Very much dark skin. We can't lie about America. We have a colorism problem. No matter how much you want to object to it, we don't prefer darker skinned people on television. We just don't. And I have a lisp. That is very much present, at least to some people it is. I knew that like me going down to Florida and trying out would only get me so far, or me trying to go to certain companies. I gotta understand that wrestling is a aesthetic business. No matter if you can do the 450s or the cool choke slam, if you're 6'4", jacked, you're gonna get far. And I'm not hating on anyone who is. Like, please go as far as you can, live your dream. But for ones who know they're not that, I know I'm not gonna be 6'4". I can get jacked all I can get all ripped up all I want. It doesn't, you know, do much for me in that category. So I've always been trying to like do what I could. Had school, had work. After the first couple of years of my career, I didn't have a car. So like you just gotta do what you can as much as you can. Um and I think I've done a lot. I just think at the same time I've probably neglected a lot of like personal growth,
Hmm.
you know? And
Let's say more about that. Oh, hi, Jim Ellermeyer back again from Fishing Without Bait. And as we offer and express transparency, this is a shameless plug for a book that we are selling. This is a 365-day calendar where we have a Zen type of picture to draw with a caption, and then we ask some thoughtful questions that people can answer, such as, what are your general thoughts about the quote? What is the morning thought in the morning? What is your evening thought? And what will you do tomorrow to spread kindness? Okay? And the beauty of this is that it's not numbered. You can pick any page out. It's not numbered. You can pick any day out and pick any quote out you want, or not. So what we're doing, we're asking people to use this as some type of a mindfulness activity to start their day. When we start our day, not trying to race through the day or with anxiety, but rather maybe some introspective self-talk, some internal validation. And what we're doing here is this. Also, what we'd like to do, we're going to be offering some Patreon material, maybe some behind the themes things, or some of the podcasts that we've done where we take a deeper dive, and we'd like to get your thoughts on that. What would you like to see? Are there any podcasts that we've done where you would like us to do a deeper dive? So you can please contact the show, and we'd be glad to explore that. And as always, we're looking for stories of recovery. Everybody's in recovery from something. We like to know how you got here from there. And please be good to yourself. And yes, this is a shameless plug.
I'm not saying I'm behind or anything. I'm incredibly privileged to have education, to have a car, to have a job that, I can keep my car, alive and working and paid off. But I do feel like a lot of times, like, I'm just like, oh, like I still live like a college kid. All this, doesn't feel different from like me living in college. Like, like I'm not going to classes all day, but work is 8 hours or work is 10 hours or something like that. And then I'm living at my friend's house, right? But not a bad way. Like, I'm very blessed to live there, but like I want my own place. Like, a lot of people my age are getting their own first places for a while. I have a long time partner of like almost 5 years now. I'll be 5 years in July. Like, I want to live with him. I want him to come down here. We have to find a house. That takes time, So like, I don't want wrestling to be like this dark cloud that's like going to like ruin my timing that I have. If that makes sense. I need to let that go to like get farther in life. I'm not saying I'm gonna let go forever. I can come back to it. But I have to be okay with letting that go. If that makes sense. Because when I officially want to stop wrestling like forever at 34, because it'd be 14 years since I was 14 years old at that point, around that time. And I was that'd be perfect. At 14, I decided I want to be a wrestler. Did 14 years. I'm good. But I need to be able to let wrestling go, because I've seen what happens when people who did nothing but wrestling, like this, define them, and they can't let it go. They're always coming back, either as a wrestler or something, and it's at one point what's going to take you to like actually like a focus on your life at some point. Like, some wrestlers, like people that we were watching on television, I'm on indie shows with. And they don't have like much education, don't have much money. They have, vets didn't give them insurance, let's be honest. So they have to work the indies to stay afloat. I don't want to be 65 working the indies. No disrespect to anyone who is. I don't want to take a bump at 65. I don't want to worry about trying to get into the ring. I don't want to worry about spots or sequencing. I don't want to worry about any of that. At 65, I should be worrying about my health.
Most people fear change, Zeke.
It's going to change. It's going to happen anyway, though. You can't fight it. Like, I mean, your health changes, your age changes. It's going to happen anyway. And if you actively fight against, you'd be left behind.
So what you're talking about is acceptance,
Mm-hmm.
acceptance and change.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really what life is about.
Yeah.
Acceptance and change.
And the thing is, I never intend to fight because I had this plan since 2022. So this has been in the works for a while, if that makes sense. It wasn't just like, oh, my back hurts, I want to give up, I want to stop. No, it's like, no, I planned this like a year before I graduated college. Like I need a break. I knew that I was going to keep wrestling until I was like, all right, I'm tired. Let's take a break. I'm burnt out.
So this isn't an emotional mind choice. This is a critically thought through, wise mind choice.
Yeah. Like, especially if people enjoy me wrestling, like I need to take a break. If you're used to artists like taking breaks between album releases and tours, like why can't wrestlers do the same? I understand the reason, like, oh, you have to be on the road, you have to get yourself out there 24/7 every weekend to get like, that's awesome. Let's be honest, that's for people who are trying to get signed. I'm doing this because I just want to wrestle, right? So when I step away, it's completely different. Hopefully it's not going to cause some big chasm. But I'm allowed to. I should be. I don't want it to. I'm glad that I've created identity through wrestling. I don't want it to define me. I have multiple different avenues of how people knew me or how I interact with the world, So I don't want to be like tied down to it too much.
Well, what we often talk about this shows, Zeke, is that what defines you is values, choices, and non-negotiables in your life. That's what defines who you are.
Right. Absolutely. I mean, the choices are very important. And I think just generally just making sound choices makes it important. Like I said, I didn't make this decision to step away like 2 months ago, and just because like, oh yeah, I'm tired of this, I'm tired of everyone, whatever, all small little drama. But like, it was like I was gonna do this anyway. Where if I was traveling the Midwest like I still was, or at 80, like that was gonna happen out of the way. So I do hope it pays off so I can like come back and be like more energized. Maybe if a mindset maybe coming back to it. But like for right now, I'm kind of a little, not a runt, but like I can feel the runt coming. Like it's gonna hit, and I'm just like, I don't want to be there when it hits for wrestling.
Well, one of the big takeaways I took from the last time that we spoke, Zeke, was that you asked, "Who am I trying to impress?"
Mm-hmm.
And you focused on giving yourself permission to build a life.
Yeah, I was also trying to think about. I was like, yeah, because I gave myself permission. A lot of people don't give themselves permission. I know I've noticed this. I'm young, but I'm probably sure you've also noticed this. But a lot of people, and I have, I fall into that trap too. We don't allow ourselves to do certain things. Like I just have a conversation with my friends, like Lou this weekend, about, oh, you should do art. You should make stuff. Like you should spend time with us, like make art. And I was like, I can't do art. And they're like, what are you talking about? I was like, I can't even draw straight. Like there's no way I can like you didn't even try. It's like, no, I tried. You don't understand. Like they're like, no, you haven't tried in years. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's different when you're like not in like a very toxic place. Like your mind's different. Like you never just sat down and just draw. I was like, well, I can't. So you haven't tried in years. I'm not allowing myself to even try. I like automatically just arguing with them, denying the principle that I can even try, or not allowing myself to see the accomplishments that I have. Another conversation I had this weekend. Because a lot of people look at me like, you did a lot. And I'm like, well, I got friends on television, people I know, like I didn't do a lot. They're like, what are you talking about? I was like, you see the standard I put? Like, yeah, but why? That's the people I was around.
Well, Zeke, you've talked a number of times about being young, but my friend, you've packed a lot of living into your life.
Unfortunately. Unfortunately.
You've packed a lot of living.
Yeah.
And next week, we're going to continue our conversation with Zeke Mercer and a free prescription that you can cash anywhere, which is fruits, nuts, and vegetables. Unplug your television and take up fishing. And for a truly mindful experience, we suggest that you fish without bait. Do a kindness for yourself and do a kindness for another. Forgive yourself and forgive another. If we're all not the Creator's children, then none of us are. Till all are free, none are free. Namaste.
please check out our website at fishingwithoutbait.com, where you can listen to the show, comment on our discussions, and find out where you can subscribe to our podcast. If you're interested in flying the colors of Fishing Without Bait, click the shop icon on our website. We have clothing, mugs, cell phone cases, and so much more. Show the world that you fish without bait. This show is a member of the Sorgatron Media Podcast Network. Find out more at sorgatronmedia.com.